Hi everyone, welcome back to the Beckfoot Lifelong Learners podcast. Got another interesting, 15-20 minutes or so today with our guest for this week's podcast. Do you want to tell us who you are, how long you've been working here, and what your role is in Beckfoot?
I'm Harry and I work in science. This is my third year here at Beckfoot. Previously to that, I did my NQT here at Wetherby High School and then worked at Corpus Christi in Leeds. And this is my 7th year of teaching.
Cool. And what's your role here at
So
Beckfoot?
I'm assistant faculty leader in science now and also a faculty research lead working with Nikki's team.
Brilliant.
From teaching and learning. So,
Lovely. And as this is the Beckfoot Lifelong Learners podcast, we always ask, can you tell us something that you've learned recently and kind of how you've used it in the classroom?
Yeah. So I keep trying to think about the best way of learning new stuff, and Nikki's talking about podcasts a lot. So I listened to the one that she linked on the bulletin a couple of weeks ago. It was with Paul Spenceley. He was talking about some stuff on how we frame our learning outcomes for the students. So he was saying how we need to kind of rephrase them so the students actually understand exactly what they need to do in a lesson. So rather than something vague, I can't think of an example off the top of my head, like for example, explain this or analyse this.
Yeah.
Do the students in your lesson actually know what that means?
I get,
So he was kind of saying that you need to frame it in a way of like something really simple. So he used a science example. He was talking about polar bears, and he was saying his outcome was tell me 3 adaptations of a polar bear. So it was super clear for the kids. So I've been trying to use that in my lessons a little bit.
I think that would really help in terms of BTEC in PE. Obviously we're doing Cambridge now, but the words, the tasks are very much explain this. And so I think I always frame my objectives, describe this, perform this, explain this. But if we can, I suppose, scaffold them in year 7, 8 and 9 through our objectives, that they know what it means to describe, what it means to explain, what it means to analyse. By the time they're doing these big meaty coursework questions or exam questions, they'll know what it means to explain. So that does sound like a really, really useful
something
one.
I'm just looking into a little bit more,
Yeah, defo, that sounds like one that we could probably all take something from. Thanks so much for that. And what are you here to talk to us about today? What's the latest from science that you guys have been
the
doing?
big thing that I'm looking at the moment is building a culture around retrieval practice. Cool. There's loads going on and stuff on Twitter about it. I kind of first came across it maybe 3 or 4 years ago. In the first couple of years of my teaching, I didn't do any retrieval, which is kind of mad, really. I used to teach a lesson and then I'd just teach the next lesson.
Yeah, but it's not mad because it didn't sound mad to me, because since I came back from maternity leave, I was like, oh, retrieval, what's this? And it's learning for us all. So tell us all about it.
It's such a simple thing. I mean, it's a thing that sounds simple, but it's quite difficult to get it right, which is what I've been kind of working on over the last few years. But since I've been implementing it, it's amazing what effect it has. The kids are just remembering so much more, and that's kind of what we want to be doing, particularly in science. So it kind of started off about 3 or 4 years ago. I came across Adam Boxer on Twitter. I don't know if you've heard of him.
No, not yet.
He's quite big in the science world. He's a bit of a Twitter celebrity these days. A bit of controversy with him, but he kind of came up with this idea of a retrieval roulette, which was on like an Excel document, and you type questions in, and then it kind of randomized questions for students, and that's how it all started. And I started to use that, and ever since I've been following him and a few others, like Adam Robbins on Twitter, and reading their blogs and articles that they link, and I've just been building my work up over time, really. So we started in science doing home learning retrieval. So how could we change our home learning and make it more effective, essentially, is what we did. And now we've got this program called Carousel Learning. Have you heard about it?
Well, tell us all about it. So what is it looking like in science? What does it look like Beckfoot.
Yeah,
And then we can maybe talk about how it might look in other subjects, like how we can pinch bits.
Yeah, so in the past, I would kind of set a homework, just finish this worksheet or something along those lines, which didn't really have any aim.
And just finishing off what you didn't get through in the lesson.
And the kids weren't really seeing the aim, so they didn't really do it, and it was kind of a bit wishy-washy. So I wanted to come up with a way that we could implement something that was really, had a massive impact. So this carousel learning is Adam Boxer's. He kind of came up with it, and it's essentially a website where you upload your questions to it, and then you can set retrieval quizzes for home learning, and it automatically generates how well the kids have done and where their gaps are and things like that. So it can be really informative in your teaching as well. So it's good.
That's not just science. Is it
no,
science
so
specific?
It started off being science specific, but now it's branching out into history and English and down into primary schools and everything. So it's really good.
That's really, really good.
So what we've done in our department is we've gone through all of our topics, and we've come up with retrieval questions which are linked to our knowledge organisers, and we've uploaded it to the site. So we've got about 900 questions for GCSE science.
That is a lot of questions.
And about 800 for Key Stage 3. So what we can do from that is we can set questions, we can interleave questions from topics that they've done previously, and we can keep a track every single week of kids' progress, and it's been quite transformative so far.
I was just about to say, like, what's the impact been, and how have the kids responded to it? What do students think?
Yeah, so at first it was quite slow to go through. I did a lot of CPD in the department, teaching other teachers how to use it, what's the most effective ways of using it, and the main thing I found that is, if we can link our home learning to our lessons, it raises the profile of it, and the students see it as way more important. And we've gone from maybe last year, I was probably getting maybe 50% of kids doing it, and now it's up in like 80-90% every single week of the students doing it. And in lessons, they are remembering much more, and they're doing better on topic tests as well.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, I did some pupil voice stuff a couple of weeks ago, and it was coming out really strong that the students enjoy using it and they find it useful, which is the main thing, really.
That's good. That's really, really good. It sounds like it's going brilliantly. Is there anything that you still feel like you need to refine, or are you pretty much bob on with it?
Yeah, so it's taken probably the best part of a year, really, from introducing it last June to now. And in terms of home learning wise, I think we're pretty solid there.
So pretty embedded.
Pretty consistent and embedded. There's still things we can be more effective with. But our next thing that we're tackling, which we've just introduced, is based on this new article called Just 4 Minutes of Teaching.
So this is how you're going to build on it, expand.
Yeah. So I've just launched this. So this is
next.
kind of what we're working on. And it's essentially what you can do. It's quite exciting, and how much impact you can have in just 4 minutes is what we're aiming for.
Cool.
And I've managed to get this routine down to 5 minutes. So it's all about how we can use the carousel learning program for the starts of our lessons as well. So we're doing retrieval, home learning, and we're also doing effective starters. And it interleaves questions as well.
Starts of excellence, linking into the Beckfoot way.
Linking into the Beckfoot way. So it's been great. So I've just launched that with staff. We've got a policy written now of what we're expecting to see. I've done like a video exemplar for staff to follow. So
what do you envisage it looking like then as a starter? What would it look like in your lesson?
So essentially what we're doing is the kids are coming in, and there's 6 questions on the board for them to do. 2 of them are from a topic that they've done previously, so we're kind of forcing them to go back to topics, because we're finding that that's the hardest thing, is that they've done it so long ago and they keep forgetting.
So they're just pulling it to the front of their memory.
So they're pulling it all the time, and then the 4 questions are based on what they're doing at the moment.
Okay.
And then it's kind of, it's hard to explain really, but there's a method around how we maximise the thinking of everybody. So we're tracking it in the back of their books. It's similar questions to what they're getting at home, so it's all tying into everything.
Constantly.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds brilliant. Really, really good. It sounds like something that other faculties could get their teeth into too, and find quite useful. Do you think do you think?
Definitely, yeah. So one of my aims really is to kind of try and get it to trickle through and roll out across school. Yeah, there's certain subjects which it lends itself more to. I think at the moment probably maths is not the ideal, just the way that it's set up and how you write questions. I think formulas wouldn't necessarily work, but for things like English, PE, geography, history, all these subjects, it'd be something definitely I'd love to share with people.
Oh, brilliant. So would we be able to approach you for
of course,
faculty CPD time, just come in and pick your brains, and faculty just maybe invite you in to share all this stuff and see if we can apply it through our own faculties?
Yeah, definitely.
That would be really, really cool.
I'm happy to, book me in. I'll show you how it works, and I'll get you set up, and I'll talk you through how we built the culture in our department, how we shared the work, because the initial work to get it set up is the sort of first stumbling block, but once you get over that, it just kind of runs itself. So
and after a year it's sort of self-sustaining kind of thing.
We just have to keep raising the profile all the time and making sure that we're using it as effectively as we can, but it's been great so far.
It sounds like a really, really useful, and I suppose the more it's used across school, it's just constantly getting in our students' minds, retrieval and reinforcing their learning, getting them into good habits across all subjects.
And if they're doing it in the same or a similar way in certain subjects, again, it raises the profile, so it's great.
So just finally then, is there any reading or anyone you recommend us following just to try and get a bit more depth, a bit more detail on this, and before we maybe approach you to get you into some
definitely.
faculty CPD time?
If you're looking for things like starters, I'd definitely check out the Just 4 Minutes of Teaching article. So if you just whack that into Google, it'll come up, and it's Adam Boxer who's done that.
Just 4 minutes?
Yeah, just
Adam
4 minutes
Boxer.
of teaching. So check out his blogs as well and his websites, they're really useful. Give him a follow on Twitter, and also Carousel Learning as well. They've got a Twitter, and their webpage is really useful as well.
Lovely. So we've got Carousel Learning, Adam Boxer, and Just 4 Minutes. They're our key takeaways. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thanks so much for chatting to us. We really, really appreciate it, and sharing your Beckfoot lifelong learning geekiness with us all. We really appreciate your time.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. See you next time.